Attack!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Smack Attack. I am your host, Jimmy T. He is my co-host, R to the B to the V, and we are live on Humming Media Group's YouTube channel and, of course, channelanswers.com after the fact. Rick, welcome back to the Smack Attack. It's better late than never. And I just want to say, I wanted to see your reaction when I started playing this song, man. And it kind of made me laugh, just thinking about how you'd react to it. But come on, man. We're in Saudi Arabia. It's blood money, I don't know at this point. Blood money 10, who the fuck knows? But I'm going to go with the vibes, man.
You know what, man? I'm not going to let that bad energy, blood money rubbish get me down, man. I am moving and grooving. I dig this, baby. I love this. This should skyrocket to the top of the charts globally. But yeah, Jimmy T, we are back. Special edition, little Taco Tuesday special edition of the Smack Attack. But hey, brother, we had to fly all the way back from Saudi. We got caught in customs. But hey, we are here. We are here a few days later, letting all of that big wrestling action play out. I know you guys covered the fallout on Raw. I'm sure we'll touch a little bit, but we are ready to build some sandcastles from Riyadh in Night of Champions.
Some sandcastles. I like it, man.
Yes.
That's pretty funny. I love it. That is actually absolutely great. And yeah, we are here to build some sandcastles. But before we do start building, we're going to start just a little bit slow here because I wanted to ask you, I know you and Ben spoke about it on the Monday locker room.
Hold on. Before you do that, I need you to start the show off. Get me in a good mood. I need you to say Bobby Bonilla 3 times.
Well, it is Bobby Bonilla 3 times. I said it 3 times earlier, but Bobby Bonilla. There you go. I did it just for you, Rick.
All right. You were popping me big time this morning trying to figure out who the hell he was and what was happening there. So I think, yeah, we're a little bit of trouble maybe breaking it down for you because he just, no hot dog pun there, relishes in the misery of the New York Mets fans. And what it is in American major sports, we have a regular routine to sign a high dollar player at a certain time. They'll defer contracts way down the road.
I knew that. I knew about geez, here goes my words, about deferring contracts, but I thought, in particular basketball, I thought that would work, say...
Well, it's baseball, and baseball's a big one.
Right,
yeah, so,
okay.
But Bonilla was one of those, where I think he gets paid till like 2035 or something like that. So he's got like 10 more years or something like that of this. So but you know what really, for a professional athlete, it is all these years in a row in the making, but what's $1 million,
Yeah, man. I mean, $1 million for me would be absolutely great. Put it that way, a year. I'd be loving life. But you're right. In terms of sports, what the hell is $1 million a year?
What's $1 million, man?
But how long has it been?
Like my cigars with that. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's really taken on a life of its own where anybody that knows anything about sports here in the States, I mean, first when you wake up July 1st, it's Bobby Bonilla Day.
Okay,
So
I never knew that.
Yeah. So just a little fun sports. It's also Canada Day for our friends there in the Great North for Mr. Kaz, our supposed clip artist. But yeah, whatever the hell Canada Day is, I guess it's kind of like their Independence Day. They got their freedom, but really, did they really get the freedom? Those sons of bitches are still loyal to the crown.
You know what, dude? You'd think Australia's the most loyal to the crown. Believe it or not, it's Canada, man.
Yeah.
Can you believe that shit?
And Canada doesn't even give anything cool to the world. I mean, at least in Australia, I mean, you got some cool scenery. You've given us Crocodile Dundee, Vegemite. Yeah.
Sucks though. Hey, but we gave Bluey for crying out loud.
Bluey, the golden goose from Australia that has changed the world. Bluey, life lessons, and a contributor to the most epic opening wrestling podcast intro in ever in existence. There, thank
Everyone pops
you, Bluey.
that,
Thank you,
actually.
Australia. Thanks for nothing, Canada.
What does Canada?
It's Bluey. It's the Bluey effect.
I mean, let's be honest though.
I don't know.
You know, speaking of Canada, I mean, they did give us maple syrup.
Real maple syrup is good. They gave me a part of the reason for my drinking problem while I'm in substance rehab, because I drank Yukon Jack, which was is a liquor from Canada. But that's it.
God
that's the only thing.
Canada, what have you done?
Yeah, I'm not allowed in there. I'm not allowed in their country, so they can go to hell.
Oh shit. You know what? Yes. They are pretty strict, man. So, I mean, screw you, Canada. No, we're kidding.
Yes.
Happy Canada Day, whatever that means.
I would rather have wrestling every week from Saudi than one show a year in Canada.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Surely. But you know what? Back to Saudi we go. We are in Riyadh. Riyadh. Saudi Arabia. And I can't help but look at this whole sort of... it feels so put on, dude. Is it just me? It just feels very like, I don't know how to put it, man. It just seems very structured.
What are you talking about, the atmosphere?
Yeah, like the fans pretty much do what friggin', everyone else does. They copy everyone.
Well, I mean, what do you want them to do? I mean, that's just the fandom. You see, you repeat. They do turn out in masses. They have a great time. I know. I think it might have been over in the Hami Media Group that I saw this. Someone had pointed out on social media that, there's no sponsors in the ring. Yeah, there was a sponsor. It was the big old Riyadh one right in the middle. This is what on the independents we call a bot show. So they just pay. You don't have to worry about selling the tickets. You don't have to worry about the sponsors, because they're giving to you everything up front. They're covering all your travel, all your talent expenses, whatever the case might be for it. They're taking care of it. This was a bot show for them. But yeah, their travel advisory, their sports authority, they are trying to rebuild their image. They are in a huge rebranding process. It is a corporate move for them. So yeah, they want to create a perceived culture there, that they are moving forward, that they're catching up, they're being more progressive with Western society. So yeah, they want to have all those perks and all those looks and show that they have just normal Joes, that are that are into professional wrestling and having a great time. I think, the production there is top notch each and every time out. They do it right. And you see a lot of great energy and enthusiastic fans, when they're doing those pan shots.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about the
I do want to put them over on this, because if you go back and look at those early shows where they were traveling over there to Saudi, up front, and all that. Nah, I mean, you're always going to have those. When they, and then they got held over on the tarmac that one time. Question, were they being held hostage or whatever that case might be. But from a fan aspect, outside of the political umbrella that you got going on, we used to show like the dignitaries up front. You seen like they had the lounges where it was the people that were in the formal dress that were probably the kingdom of their government, but they've kind of flipped that. You see, especially in the open. We'll run down it here in a little bit, but you've seen the Cody fans, the young kids up front. So they are incorporating more of that regular fan base and look as these shows go on.
And I'll give them a thumbs up for allowing even more women into their crowd too, because I feel this actual show was the most women I ever saw, especially without a burqa.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? We've had Crown Jewel there. We've got Night of Champions. We got Royal Rumble going there next year.
That's crazy still, man. Royal Rumble.
Hey, Scotty, rolls into Saudi next year. Hey. Who knows? Who knows how aggressive they are going forward? We might have a women's evolution in Saudi.
No way.
In some years to come.
I dare say that's not going to happen anytime soon when it comes to a women's evolution, PLE.
Hey, don't, you know
Saudi
what?
Arabia.
We got it recorded here. We have got it recorded here July 1st, 2025 in the United States. I know you're a little ahead of us. You're in the second. Hey, in Australia, happy birthday to Jarko. It's July 2nd there. But
true.
hey, we have got it. We have got it recorded. We've got it recorded here. I'm going to say this. Well, that's the chat. We'll throw it out there. If you're live with us here, let us know. If not, hit us up on our socials. Let us know. Over, under. I'm going to say 3 years. Within 3 years, that there is a women's evolution show in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. All right. I remember that. I said it's never going to happen. So chat, keep this in mind. I said it's never happening. Rick says it's happening within 3 years.
I'm going with the under. Within 3 years.
That's crazy. If you said maybe, 10 years, maybe I could go with it. But 3 years, that's a big call, Rick.
They are pushing forward. They want that look. What better way than to say, hey, look at how we've broken through here.
And what up, Todd? Thank you for joining us, my man. And you are the HMG Pick'em Challenge World Champion after all. It's unfortunate we don't really do that anymore. But Scott also says 3 years before women can wear their normal outfits. Hey, I saw a lot of women, Scott, in this crowd, as a matter of fact, dressed pretty normal. I'm just saying. Yeah, and you know this. I know there's more coverage with the ladies when they go over there, but those outfits that they're wearing are just as tight and revealing as anything else. And even 100%. All around, we talk about how sexualized the Divas division was, or, when they started bringing, women's wrestling into prominence there in the late 90s, early 2000s, about bra and panty matches and, pillow fights. You know what? Get all that out of here, because they are wearing skimpier outfits, more revealing outfits today than ever before. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, man. That's true. That's a fact. But, Rick, before we do get into the actual show in itself, I just want to ask you, man. Like I said, I know you and Vince did discuss it on the Monday Locker Room, so go check that out, peeps. But since you and I are here, how do you feel about the Punk situation, him apologizing? Do you think there was WWE's sort of play with that? And because Meltzer, which I don't agree with, by the way, has claimed that WWE paid that guy that made CM Punk apologize. I don't actually think he even knows, and he's just putting it out there. I personally don't agree with that, but how do you feel about that? I think there's always a lot of wiggle room in anything that Meltzer is putting out there in his reports, and they should be taken with a, no pun intended here, grain of salt. Because in a sense, as I said, as you guys were talking this morning on the I Like It Raw show, like, why is anyone listening to or taking Meltzer seriously in 2025? Because everything he has put a stretch on. So, but as I thought about it throughout the day, I think, yes, there is some truth that WWE paid CM Punk to say that. You know why? Because they pay CM Punk to be on their show, to represent their brand. It's just like they paid anyone else to say anything. They are representatives of it. He's getting a paycheck. So that in the mind of Meltzer is enough to put out there BS trash that can be manipulated, to look unfavorable towards a talent, especially CM Punk, who really was really the catalyst for showing what an absolute disaster behind the scenes it is at AEW. That opened that opened that forbidden door, when we all found out about what a mess it is. So that's a little bit of a cheap shot. But I think, more to this. And you can go back and listen to the Monday Locker Room. Ben hit some great takes on this thing. And really what we saw happening here is, and I want to tie in three things. I really like what Ben said. I liked what Big Ray also said this morning. And then I kind of got my own take on it. Ben pretty much said he lived there in Chicago, and this is the essence of that city. They are egotistical, self-centered hypocrites. Wow. I knew he lived in Chicago before he came back to New York. But I mean, we all could, I don't know globally if you're able to be exposed to it as much as we are here in the States, but Chicago is like that city that's always,
we should have complete gun control. We should eliminate guns, but they have the highest homicide rate. So there's people getting murdered there. So they want to preach out on one side, and they don't hold any truth to that on the other side of this thing. So again, this was going back to CM Punk, completely dismissing, saying how wrong it was for anybody to be in business with the Saudis until it came down to his own money and his well-being, his welfare. Okay, so that inside himself, Chicago represents those hypocrites. I did like what Big Ray said. He didn't really care that there was an apology. He didn't put too much stock in what CM Punk said before. He was more concerned about CM Punk, the entertainer. Does he like his on-air character? Is he performing good matches in the realm of professional wrestling? Is he doing a good job? That's what Ray cares about. I agree with that wholeheartedly as well. Where we as a society put entirely too much stock in celebrities' opinions about worldly affairs, where we let them pretty much sway us in either way. Now, out of that entire, hearing those guys and listening to some other people talk on this, I would just advise people, be careful what the hell you say. And inside of that, you really think about when you're going to make a statement. I'm sure at that point, CM Punk's like, yeah, I got him. I'm going to blast these guys. In his mind, then, he's never going back to WWE. He's going to be the holier than now, put himself on a pedestal. 100%. But look what it's done here. It is very openly come back to bite him in the ass. So when you're doing something, in that moment, think long term. How does this benefit me? I do it regularly a couple times a week, Jimmy, where I'll have something ready to go on social media, read through it to check my spelling or punctuation, and I'm like, you know what? This might not be the best thing for me. This might piss somebody off down the road or something like that, For
sure. Man.
And then you go ahead and delete it.
Right. Absolutely.
So on one hand, you got to see this for what it is. This is a corporate move for Punk. This is him protecting his business. Well, yeah, he looks like a huge hypocrite.
That's an understatement. But I wasn't saying particularly about Punk getting paid. I'm talking about that fan getting paid. And that's what Mouser was referring to. Like he was a plant, by the way, which I don't agree with at all. Like, at all.
Well, I think that probably stems from just the belief over there with their control of their media. That they do see what gets in and out. What was it, around a couple of years ago where that guy got it turned into mulch right around the time that WWE was having a show over there.
Yeah,
so again,
like literally the next day after the show, that's when he turned into mulch.
Yeah. I think, I don't completely know this, but the government probably does pay a lot of their media, but it's probably not like, hey dude, here's an extra, here's some Bobby Bonilla million sand dollars. If you go ask this hard-hitting pending question to CM Punk, put him on the spot. No, that shit didn't happen.
Yeah, see, that's what I didn't agree with when it comes to Meltzer. Also, I want to ask you one more thing about Punk.
We should pay a reporter to ask Mr. Meltzer how deep, how far can he deep throat Tony Khan when when he's trying to put over that product.
Speaking of deep throating, it is the hot dog season, right? I mean,
yeah, dog goblin, baby.
I'm just saying, and you're up for it. So, look out for that because RBV will be covering it. But it's true. It's true. He very much deep throats. But what I wanted to ask you was, especially on SmackDown, you know how Punk came out as, the Thugonomics version of Cena or the Punkonomics, whatever you want to call it. Do you feel that was some sort of rib on him through WWE? Like WWE making him do this as a rib? And do you think he was cool with doing it?
I think there's probably somewhere in the middle here. He probably had some fun with it once you get that put out to you there. But, Ben touched on this. Everything that you're doing in this company, and I know for a lot of people that haven't been inside of the business, and it goes everywhere. Even, I've got to work indies, some rubs with some of the national companies there. But when you get that deep into the machine, everything is a test or trying to break you. So even top stars like CM Punk are going to go through that. But just imagine, what people that have come back and now are just kind of squandering in misery, running in quicksand, like the likes of a Rusev or an Aleister Black or something like that. How much can we push you? How much shit can we shovel down your throat? And how much will you take?
Wow. Well, I mean, they do that. It's no secret. Even without Vince, they still seem to be doing that. I guess Triple H just learned from the best, right? I mean, when you think about it,
it's a nature of the business, and they'll tell you things that they've changed in their culture. You know, I was looking through, you know, just getting caught up on some news before we got going here. And you talk about Triple H and Shawn Michaels that are the heads that are receiving all of this praise. You know, they're changing the direction of the company. They're making more money now than ever, which is absolutely true. But that's above their pay grade. You think that it's Triple H and Shawn Michaels that are striking these global deals coming in? No, that is Khan. It's Ari Emanuel and all those people way above that pay grade. But I'll tell you what, the guys getting that praise there, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they're going to be the ones that fall on the sword eventually. They're the ones going to get you. You're afraid to go to side something bad, getting their head lopped up. But they are total marks. They're total marks for themselves. I just seen there's an Uncle Sam spoof shirt for NXT with Shawn Michaels saying we want we had at WrestleMania. You had Triple H going into the hall. He's running his speech up until 5 a.m. They had
5 a.m. bro.
Yeah, right. they had what five championship titles, replica titles going for $500. They had meet and greets with him for what 35 up to 3,500. These two are the biggest marks. These two are the biggest marks. That was the John Cena one, was like 23 grand or something like that.
You got a dinner with him, right?
Yeah, but these two that are running the wrestling operation side of this thing, the creative, the talent, they're the biggest marks in the company.
It's true, man. Them two especially.
They might be the biggest marks in all of pro wrestling.
Bret Hart is up there too. I hate to say it.
Bret Hart, like, well, you're not doing anything. I mean,
no. I mean, in terms of he's got pictures of himself apparently all over in his house.
Yeah, but
his bedroom, bro. His bedroom. I mean, come on.
So Bret Hart, he took it very personal, and it was one of the things that I know that I always hold that I always hold true in this, though. Right. And I'm not. I know Bret wasn't the one that first spoke it, but I heard him saying it. Always stuck with me, and I always talked about it in the locker rooms I was involved with, and that is. This is very real to Bret Hart, and that is perfectly okay with me because if from the talents, from management to crew to even us doing something like this, talking heads on a podcast, if we don't believe this, then no one else will.
I totally agree. That's the one thing I did appreciate about Bret the Hitman Hart is because he took his shit seriously, bro, and I can actually appreciate that because that's why he's one of my favorites.
I would believe if Bret Hart was in a position like that, a power thing like that, that you wouldn't have all of this grab dick, high school-esque, just messing with people. And that's what Triple H, Shawn Michaels, the Clique, that's what they were known for.
They're high school fucking.
And it was guys like Bret Hart that stood up to them.
Yeah, no, you're right. By the way, Scotty, do I sound louder now? Thank you for telling me that.
You do now.
Good. I just want to quickly welcome a new listener by the looks of things. Sabrina Ionescu saying hello, everyone. Hello, Sabrina. Are you from Romania by any chance, going by your last name? If you are, hello, Romania.
Hey, I'm Romanian. I actually am. My great grandmother Geiger came over here. That entire side. So my grandparents' parents actually came here straight from Romania. They lived on the backside of Lodz Castle in a little village over there. They're actually gypsies.
Wow. The fact that you said gypsies, that means I know you know your shit. Because, I mean, no offense to you, Sabrina, if you get offended or not, but Romanians are known as gypsies for the most part. Around Europe, especially, you'll find that they're actually mostly Romanian.
And we have the real Dracula, baby. Oh, Vlad.
Brother says Jimmy T studying HMG 24/7. Not really, man. It's just because we didn't get to do the Smack Attack earlier. This was the chance. But hey, it's just for all you guys, man. So hopefully, you all very much appreciate it. But anyway, Rick, how about we do get into Night of Champions? Oh, and I want to shout out Kenny F. and Powers. Thank you for joining us too, my bro. I forgot to mention you, Cold Blooded, of course, as well. But yeah, Was there any other news we needed to touch on at all, or probably not?
If there's anything really of significance, there are a few things around, but nothing really pertaining to WWE right in Night of Champions. I think it was just that big news, maybe the Punk thing. It does look like, we are returning for Royal Rumble. So just a headline out there, I clicked on it about the state of the relationship between the company and Saudi. Everything looks good. Things are moving forward. As we talked about earlier, hey, I would put it out there and bet some money that we see an Evolution pay-per-view in Saudi here in a couple of years. But yeah, so that's our big. We put our over-under there as forward pushing is the Saudis and their representatives, their government, their sports authority, whatever the case might be, just showing that they're caught up with Western society there, that they could be. They could want one of those big-time pay-per-views like that to show that they're moving forward, that they're getting caught up. But we have some women's matches, 2 big women's matches here on this show. We return when Jimmy and I talked about it at the top of the show, the grand spectacle there that you get in the desert. And these guys, they came rocking. The highlights on this thing, we're going to crown some new royalty, some new #1 contenders for SummerSlam, as we got the finals of both the King and Queen of the Ring. We've got a Saudi street fight making history on this show. We've got some undercard feuds. We've got some championship matches. And the big one, John Cena granting CM Punk a shot at that championship. And I kind of liked how they went about this, that if Punk was going to get it, Cena was going to agree to it, that he had to do it by selling out and going back on what he had said a couple of years ago, which to me, that more entirely is the rib. You want this huge payday. You want to get this done. You want this opportunity. Punk, you're going to do this in Saudi, but we're going to put it in a storyline sense for you. But we had all that going there. Jimmy, we opened things up. They jump right into it. They're going big time. They're going to keep that audience on the edge of not just on the edge of the seat, on their feet.
Yeah.
And keep them loud to open up this show. You get Randy Orton out first. We're going to get the men's King of the Ring final. They're singing along. They're absolutely loving it. Cody Rhodes comes out. They continue. They sang both of these songs the entire match. Jimmy.
Dude, can I ask, man, how do you feel about this sing-along, WWE sing-along thing going on now? You know what I mean? Is it getting out of hand?
I think it's just one of those, you're going to have to accept it when you go to overseas to these different shows. Those fans have kind of embraced that. Now, I will say there's a little difference here. And I think we've gotten to the point where you can kind of tune it out. If it's not really your thing here.
It makes my eyes roll, man. Straight up. Like, come on, man.
So with that, but at least here, they're singing along with the entrance songs, where you get in Europe where they start trying to hijack and come up with their own shit. Right, they're going into some kind of football fucking chant,
but at least they come up with original sort of chants, unlike, say, Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they didn't either. They just sang the songs that they knew. They sang the entrance songs. So
I guess
it really on the fence, because I know there's a lot of the legends, the former pros and all that, the talking heads that feel like, they're trying to hijack the show to try to make it about them.
They do give themselves a round of applause after the friggin' sing-along, though. I mean,
I think, but you want that from the fans. You don't want them to be a Japanese audience sitting on their thumbs.
That means they're into it, though, Rick.
I know, saying shit. But
but I agree with you, though. I rather atmosphere.
Beast told me something, and we were running a show, and as you know, Beast handled our talent, and it was our agent, and the crowd was silent, and I was worried, like, shit, we got to bring them up. We got to get some noise. He said, Rick, it's okay if they're quiet. It means they are into what's happening. He said, you have to watch closely to make sure that they're not on their phones. Then that's when you've lost them. So there is that difference there. So there is that fine line. You want reactions. You want big pops. You want especially WWE. They live on the pop moment.
100%. Definitely.
It's in their marketing. They openly say that. They want to create And even in, on that commentary, you talk in sound bites so they can capture that with those pop moments. That's what it's about. But for the fans, get into the show. Make all that noise that you want. Be as vocal as you want. But like with the European fans, when they go off on their own shit, it's starting to take away from the show. Then you're hurting to the show. It bugs me. It drives me crazy to no end with all these smarky asses that go to the shows. And this is one of the names I always put out there. Kevin Owens works his ass off to be a heel.
Right.
Now people, but we know, the reality is people love Kevin Owens.
That's the problem in today's profession.
But they're like, you know what?
Too, unfortunately.
I'm going to go cheer Kevin because he works hard. And but you know what? When he's out there doing his job, trying to be a heel, and you're cheering him, yeah, go out there, boo him. If you want to be a part of the show, help along in that fashion. Put the heat that he's trying to generate. Show that it's there. You're being counterproductive if Kevin's out there cutting a promo or anybody a heel.
You're fucking him up too, actually, by cheering him in many ways.
Right.
No, you're right.
So that's really a bigger issue of why we can't have nice things in wrestling. People, and I don't believe that kayfabe is dead. It just has to be allowed to evolve. No pun intended there. But that's why we can't have nice things like that in more deep storylines, because so many of the smart fans are just flat out a-holes.
This is an interesting conversation, actually, Rick. So then how do you actually put a stop to this shit? It's pretty hard, man.
You just got to outsmart them. And that's what kayfabe was. People, right. People were hip and smart to things, but you just have to be able to outsmart them and don't play to them. And that's the problem that they do. So
100%.
And hey, and here, speaking of this, in this match, this is a perfect, to get back to the match here. I love the storytelling here in this opener with Cody and Orton. Obviously, you've got the history. Man, I really wish we would have had some more time for build. That we discussed this all the time about this.
Yeah,
These quick sprints, this shotgun booking from event to event, because we're getting so many of them. But there's so much history here with legacy.
Right.
These guys coming up together, man. It would have been great to see some footage or sit downs each week. You get somebody like a Rip Rod or just anybody, or if it was Al, the head trainer, like talking about these guys, the differences between these two at OVW. Multi-generational, beyond that with Randy, multi-generational talents, both going to OVW, both coming together to form legacy. All of that, man, what a great story that would have been in a build to a big payoff match like that. But I did enjoy the story with the short build, missing out on what really could have been a huge blockbuster deal for these guys. I saw online a lot of people freaking out, and this is because these two are good pros. They do old storytelling in that ring. When Randy took that bump on his back, how many people
as well?
How many people were freaking out thinking that he was actually hurt? And what did they do?
Everybody freaked out,
right?
Literally, right? Absolutely.
And how awesome was it? I'll even admit, when I saw that land and they go to that replay, I'm like, damn. And what's Randy doing? He's selling like crazy. Classic selling. We're used to.
Cody wasn't sure either, man.
Well, no, but that's because those guys are so good together, because they've had that history that we're talking about, man. That's a good old OVW where they learned that shit at. Now here's what fans would expect today. Okay, Randy takes that big back bump on there. Okay, here's what would have happened. He should have flipped up, right? We should have done like 8 super kicks. No, those guys go in that story, and then Cody starts working that back, knowing, hey, man, I got an opportunity here. I love the storytelling in that.
100%, man, 100%. And look, he's not injured. There's no reports of him being injured anyway.
No, it's fine. That's wrestling, but that's how you work that fine line, that blurred line. Everyone thinks they know everything. They're so used to this paint by numbers floor routine, and you can get them hooked. You can catch them by that old school. Now, at 100%. The end of the close of this thing, during it kind of confused me, and I like the word it makes you think, because you start kind of rolling through your mind. Okay. Where are they going? What's a potential here? But for Randy, when he goes out and gets the chair, you're thinking, okay, he's been babyface Randy, but Randy's always Randy. He is the Viper. He can flip at any time. He's going to do what it takes.
And he's able to go between anyway and be a bit of a tweener.
Right. But then he's so smart. he uses it as a distraction because you're thinking like, come on, Randy, you got the matches on the line, the ref, and he's so smart. He uses that thing as a ploy to go over and remove that turnbuckle, which comes back and bites him in the ass. Cody unknowingly takes advantage of it, but is able to hit.
Cody did look kind of shocked though too. Like,
hey, I loved it too.
Like,
did you happen to realize it was Rudy Charles on the call, right? He was the referee, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Little Nate.
Yeah, Little Nate, right.
Okay, so when he even notices, and you can pick this up in the background, when he notices it too, his eyes open up like, whoa, where did the turnbuckle go? And Cody had that surprised look as well.
It was a good visual too, like camera shot wise. And Zane, yes, I am feeling actually a lot better than when I was doing I Like a Raw, by the way. So
yeah, you got a lot. You seem like you got a lot more color here. So you're a lot better in your voice.
I was feeling fucked before. I don't know why I've got a second win now, but yeah, that's a good thing. But yeah, no, this match was great to open up with. But believe it or not, this wasn't my favorite match of the night, though. Actually, but
we get to the close there. Cody hits the crossroads, picks up the win. He is your 2025 King of the Ring, which ensures him. He is the new #1 contender for his brand's championship. So he will be going on to, well, at this point, he's going on to SummerSlam to face either, as in that real time, CM Punk or John Cena. And he gives that speech. Hey, best of luck. Whoever wins tonight, you're holding that title short term because I'm coming back to reclaim it at SummerSlam. So Cody over and he puts over Randy Orton, even though he hasn't really registered yet what kind of happened. He almost was going to get cheated at a thing. Randy is kind of dejected. So I think at least that leaves us now. What kind of Randy are we going to be getting forward? I don't want to give any spoilers because I couldn't help myself. I'm one of those kids that always peeked at my Christmas presents. So I did read the spoilers on that. But,
two of us.
but I don't want to put anything away. But that does leave the question, what kind of Randy do we have going forward? Now, what's next for Randy? We know Cody is going back into that championship picture. Where does Randy go? So I think that's a kind of a cool a little cliffhanger there from his side of things.
Well, Scotty says something interesting here. Cody's the new King of Kings. Imagine that.
Yes.
That's saying that. Brings out the throne, the Triple H throne. Proclaims himself as the King of Kings. He did drop hints that he's possibly becoming heel soon. He's actually thinking about it. He said this on his own show. Or at the Fanatics event. What's it called? The Fanatics gig that they were doing just last week.
Yeah, he said maybe that his babyface run might be coming to an end or closing that chapter and moving forward. So, they're opening up some things that what could happen at SummerSlam. So there's a lot of intrigue coming out of that. So we'll have to stay tuned for this Friday when they air SmackDown, which is already in the can.
Oh, so that was taped? It's not going to be live?
Yeah, that's why Raw started at 6 p.m. Eastern here yesterday.
Oh,
which I love. I freaking love it because, well, they're letting everybody off for the American holiday. 4th of July is Friday.
Which is great, which is fair enough. I didn't realize that SmackDown was taped this week, though, man. And that's because of, obviously, July 4th coming up.
Yeah, they did Raw starting at 6 and then ran it and then put SmackDown in the can immediately following it there.
All right, now you got me intrigued. Now I want to know what happened and what goes on with Orton. But anyway, I'll see that for myself.
We'll talk about that coming up this weekend on our regular time slot for Smack Attack.
And the good thing about that, actually, is back to 2 hours. So,
yes. Hopefully that's not a rib.
I never believe him, dude, but I actually believe him this time. Funny enough.
It does look like it's a shorter show, reading the report that I saw. But anyway,
okay,
yeah.
Right.
So,
well, that's good.
So we've got that intrigue. So Cody is going on. What would you think? Because I saw there was a lot of, maybe not a lot, but a portion of the fan base a little not so satisfied that it's Cody. Come
on, we all knew Cody would have won this. I mean, what were people expecting? Did they really think Orton was going to win this?
Well, and I think that setup. Wasn't the right setup because you're going to go back to these two. Do you go back to Randy after the last time ever? When we just had Randy and Cena in St. Louis at Backlash, a couple of weeks ago.
That's right.
Cody, Cena, we were all anticipating this. When was it going to happen? I think a lot of us thought it would be later closer to the end of the run for Cena. I've seen a lot of people.
Too.
I've seen a lot of people speculating maybe this is the time where Cody gets it back and it begins Cena turning back to the babyface on that home stretch of his farewell. I've seen throwing it out there. Maybe we get a double turn at SummerSlam. So it's good
that
when
would
there's
be interesting.
It's good when there's intrigue.
That's when wrestling's at its best, man. When you're left intrigued, you know what I mean. So yeah, I agree 100%. Look, you can go all sorts of ways. I am intrigued, and I'm looking forward to see what does happen there, in the future. But I always felt that Cody was going to win this. I'm sure they will revisit this feud in the future. You don't just give it to Saudi Arabia. I think we'll see a proper build once Cody becomes champion and Orton chases.
Well, and I think there are some
Cody
things. There are some things to go back to inside of this match itself. That I thought of why they're having Randy act that way is. Maybe you could have Randy go back and say, you know what? I knew how important this was. I had Cena where I wanted him. I let him get through my fingers, slip through my fingers. I wanted this rematch. I know what it takes to be at the top of this business. I was willing to do whatever I had to do to even beat you, Cody. I respect you, but I had to try to do whatever I could. Now, Cody, do you have it in you to do whatever it takes to beat John Cena? You could play into that and keep those two kind of intertwined. And again, there is an opportunity to revisit those guys down the line. But let's move on. There's a lot of open end there we can continue to discuss here over the weeks. Our second match out is our first of two women's matches here. And this is history making for Saudi Arabia, the first street fight, or first at least women's street fight. I find it hard to believe that they haven't had street fights somewhere because we have them everywhere. But this is the first women's street fight to happen in Saudi.
A Riyadh backlot brawl match.
Yeah. So it's
the main streets of Riyadh.
Yeah. They should have just dubbed her Riyadh Ripley during this show. So we got Riyadh Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez representing Judgment Day. So we got those ties back together. Rhea just can't get away. Can't get away. Yeah. Can't.
Triple R's.
We could have had Riyadh Ripley versus Riyadh Rodriguez. Again, they've got the tie-ins from the Judgment Day. Ripley can't get away from them. But this one has gotten so personal in the last 2 weeks that it's going to be a street fight. I was surprised to see this here as we've got all these different builds to all these shows. I thought that they would have saved this thing for Evolution. Obviously, we have different plans as Rhea's going to be challenging for the Raw version. I can't remember which one it is of the Women's Championship.
The World Heavyweight. It's not heavyweight. The Women's World Championship.
Yeah, so whichever one EO has, the Raw version, we're going to get that match. But inside of this match here, all right, first of all, we were talking about the women's outfits. This one, first of all, these two just came out. They look like a tag team, not a wrestling tag team. They look like two women that's going to tag team you like two dominatrix. Both in the skin tight, toe to toe, little spiky duds on it, all black outfits. It looked like you're a gamer, so like like a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. They look like when you both choose like Scorpion. So you got almost basically the same outfits, but like one has a little green, one has a little red in it.
I know exactly what you mean. Well, they do have the Judgment Day sort of background too, right? I mean, to be fair.
I know, but this is a case here, a classic storytelling here. At least don't look like a freaking tag team when you're going out there.
I thought that too, man. I'm thinking, whose idea was this first?
Hey, what is that lifestyle? The BDMSD, whatever the hell. They got more letters than the LG. Yeah, those. That's what this thing was.
Well, Zay says Big Pop RBV.
Yeah.
That is funny, I must admit. But look, put that shit aside. You're right.
These two big, towering, leatherly clad women were probably terrifying to these men of Saudi Arabia. Erotically terrifying is what I'm going to say.
Ironically, yeah, you're probably right. But these two women absolutely tore their house down. I dare say this was the match of the night.
You like this one? Okay, to me,
I did for some weird reason. I know it was a bunch of bullshit. Don't get me wrong. But
I don't know if I just agreed with the stipulation. Not a whole lot to do here with the street fights when you really can't go around the arena. Because I mean, when they're over there, I don't know what it is. Even with the men, you don't
want to go. You don't want to go around that arena. No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And even with the guys, they pretty much stay in the ring or immediately at ringside.
I don't blame them.
So I thought that kind of handicapped it again. But this is another thing where I would have liked to have seen these two in a longer term program. This thing was just thrown together over the last 2 weeks.
True.
So it's hard to get invested in this thing. But we do have the continued story. Roxanne Perez gets involved, tries to help out Rodriguez here. Not going to get it done. Rodriguez, they did set up the table. She's going to hit her with their, what was the Tijuana bomb or whatever the hell.
Tijuana bomb, exactly. But dude,
that backfires. That was a pretty wicked spot with Rhea hitting the riptide off of the table.
Dude, I couldn't believe how hard these two were going on each other. And you know what's even funnier? I'm not a fan of Raquel Rodriguez, dude. I'm just not, right? Genuinely. But after this match, I was like, okay, maybe I can get into it now because I didn't think she had this sort of match in her, to be honest. Rhea's different. She's on a different level. But Raquel didn't just get pushed over. You know what I mean? She shouldn't.
I mean, and look at her. She looks magnificent. Right. I mean, you need her to prove that muscle. If anybody in this division is going to stand up to Riyadh Ripley, it's gonna be Raquel. She and there's a lot of, when you look at him, it looks like Raquel should have the advantage over her here. Real quick, Zane, good pop, man. No, my hub search has nothing to do with dominatrix. It's mainly black chicks, white guys. What else do I got in there? I'm like real into like the MILF, like, like my age, like 45 to 60-year-old stuff. So those are my hubs. I like them older, man. I don't know.
Wait. Not 70s, but come on, Rick.
I don't know. Fucking. They can do a lot. They can do a lot of good things with medical science and surgeries today to keep those things going. All right. So a point here about Ripley. And I had this from my Raw notes. She opens up last night. When did she has lost so much of her edge. She used to come out with that opening and that foot stomp and you hit that pyro, and she was a dominating force that just screamed. She was there to hurt people. She was a modern day, like, in woman's embodiment of like the Road Warriors. Hawk and Animal rolled into one. Rock and roll, kicking ass, just absolutely dangerous. And now she comes out. I'm sure she got that sinister, sexy stare about her, and she's trying to show the cleavage. She just turned into another piece of eye candy in that division.
I know what you're saying, and yeah, but look, I think.
And then you bring out little EO, who is just the stereotype of any anime shit. Me what Rhea. Yeah, that was
Ripley.
I choose Challenger. I choose Rhea. Something like anime 101 with her, dude.
You even done the facial, which killed me.
Right? That's what she does every time.
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley. She does it between like every two sentences. She does the goddamn laugh.
I mean, give us some, you got to throw some slack here, man. Like she probably does that because she can't really she's trying to.
No, I don't know if they're. I don't know. I don't know if. I don't know. I guess they're gonna pay more attention over at AEW. I guess they've kind of weeded out a bunch of them. I don't remember Rio ever doing that. But there's someone in the back? Is the agent just a huge anime mark
wow. That's a big possibility, actually, Rick. Actually, to be fair,
yeah,
is it not? I mean, in today's freaking day and age, you're probably onto something.
Yeah. So all right. So we do have that. So we have Riyadh Ripley goes over here, beats Raquel. So we do know going forward. That seems like it's over now, that they are moving on from each other. Man, I think I would have been more. I would have been more excited at Evolution, maybe to continue this match, if we would have had Ripley teaming up with Vicor, with Stephanie, to take on the Judgment Day of Rodriguez and Perez for the women's tag team titles, and then spin that off and start telling me a story between Vicor and Ripley into a program.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, it's different too. But actually, speaking of Vicor or however
you want like a modern day women's Road Warriors, put Vicor and Ripley together.
But is Steph a little too short compared to Ripley though?
Okay, man. I mean,
like in terms of being, say, the Hawk or Animal.
They're both both ass kickers. They're both known for going out there and getting. Well, hopefully, you know. Well, yeah, that'd probably be the other thing. You know, you want your. Yeah, because I don't know, the whole company. It just seems to me that they have so much trouble developing characters and keeping a direction for these women. But that's what we're getting there with this round of women. We will have some more women to talk about.
Oh,
here's a match. Here's a match. Our next match I was into, because we had a very slow burn, rolling story. Some of it is fueled from social media here, and it's real quick tidbits that we've had from backstage that are building to this. But we have something, and I think there are some open-ended questions. Where are we going here? And this is Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn over big time in Saudi, man. They love that dude.
I mean, he's Arabic, so it makes sense, and he speaks Arabic to the crowd as well. Yeah, he's mega over there, and as he should be. Except, we'll get to that.
But you don't want a big setting like this, a big stage like Saudi, because again, Jimmy, the production is so over the top, so incredible here, but he looks, and it's more mind-boggling how they continue to get this wrong. But Karrion Kross looked like a freaking mega star in an environment like that. Scarlett doing her thing, and then a boom with that and played it. I think that scared that entire arena at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the frustrating thing about, Killer Kross or Karrion Kross, whatever you want to call him these days, because he does look great in that sort of environment. You know what I mean? Like,
he's one of those guys, again, it's just mind-boggling. Like, how do you miss with that? How did you mess that up?
And what I'm trying to also figure out, what are they trying to do right now? Like
I like that. I like that in that. And I know you're one of those guys that, and Bradley does it great. He's over there predicting match outcomes. I know you like getting into that, but to me, that's where it's kind of good to turn the brain off and just the speculation. I have no clue where they're going with that. Zero. I hope they do. That's the scary part.
The thing, dude. I'm telling you, they don't.
That's the scary part. Are they just booking this not even week to week by like segment by segment? That's the scary part.
And what's even scarier is that a lot of us are all reacting to this like it's a good thing what they're doing, but really they're not doing anything.
Okay, cold-blooded. I like you said it's a setup. Then that's good. You're pairing people together to see those reactions, to see what's going to happen, because you're a dance partner out there. You know that, and you got to play off of one another. And I think they are doing that pretty good job of that right now. The only thing I would have probably have liked to see like this match, like a no contest.
That would make more sense, because that way he protects Kross. You know what I mean? As well.
Or obviously you want Sammy looking good in their eyes, and he does. He has a great fan base, big pop. He's moving merch. He is a star in their eyes. I know for some of us it's hard to see, especially in comparison to somebody like Kross. But I think right now we do need some protecting and more buildup of Kross.
Absolutely. What are
even if you're gonna give Sammy the win here, that's okay. But I would have done it by like an intentional DQ or something.
Something out of left field. You have to, man, because it's time we need to protect.
Or just a blatant DQ where he knows that he's getting DQ'd, because that's kind of the thing. Like going back to the previous Raw where Sammy cold coxing. And he said, and Scarlett's like, okay. And they're like, yeah, we got him. Like, so they're working him.
Even a couple of weeks before that, when he was teasing on turning on Jey Uso, for example, right?
Right.
You could have gone that way as well, but they seem to like, even with Sammy, I don't know if they want to go all in with him. No pun intended.
I know there's a lot of talk, and I know just, on the other side of Channel Attitude with the Russo brand, those guys have been talking about, why wasn't this the Sammy's time? If you're invested with him this much, count on him and I think a lot of fans thought maybe that would have been the better finals for the King of the Ring here as Sammy versus Jay in that story.
Sure, because we're in Saudi Arabia, I get it, but would have it been really though? But you could have.
I think no, it would have been easy. You've got a good story there. They're friends. I think there's just as much intrigue. I'm afraid now, but if they try, all right, so man, there's going to be a lot on the line, and that's the intrigue coming up next Saturday, a week from this coming Saturday. So two Saturdays from now at the not Great American Bash. That's in the afternoon at Saturday night's main event,
right?
With Gunther and Goldberg. I think smart money's on Gunther, but there's a lot of people. Hey, who's going to be rolling into SummerSlam with that title? So that's some conversation we could have. If it's Gunther, I guess the smart money would, is it going to maybe Jay or Sammy get that shot? But now that they both lost in the semifinals and have been downgraded, to me, that just again downgrades that entire World Heavyweight Championship.
Unfortunately, you're right. It does, man. But what I'm more intrigued is, I think if Goldberg does beat Gunther, I think that's when we get Seth cashing in on Goldberg and championship off him.
I think that's a whole nother story that we've got with that. I would have loved to talk with you guys this morning about that, but we'll save that for a future show. But yeah, I do believe next. So that would be the 13th, 12th, something like that. So that Saturday,
14th, though, I think, isn't it?
No, it's a week from this Saturday, so we're out of a week. So
Evolution's on the 14th. It's one.
Evolution's on Sunday. Saturday night's main event is on the Saturday right before, and we got Great American Bash in the afternoon, and All In's that weekend. So get ready for another. So I was just gonna plug. I'm going to be handling the live watch along for the Saturday night's main event. So then Brandon's going to be doing after that or the next day or something. The AEW, and then you and Vet will be doing the recap for All In, and I'm working on a very special pre-show for Evolution where I'm actually hoping to have a roundtable with some top level independent female wrestlers. So that should be pretty cool. So
that will be good.
Stay tuned for that. So a little plug for all that.
I might join you on the watch along though for the Saturday night's main event one for sure, because
I was thinking with everything going on, we might just make that the Smack Attack.
Oh,
we'll figure. We'll figure all that out, but there's going to be a lot of that coming out. So there's going to be a lot.
We'll be more serious about it. Let's change it. Like we'll make it like we'll give it our honest thoughts. Like on
we can just go into it like an alternative play-by-play.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Instead of just shooting the shit like we usually do.
So we do have Sami Zayn picks up the big win. He hit just out of nowhere, kind of hits Cross with the big boot, picks up the win at 13:35. We do see some continuation coming out of that story, something to keep our eyes on. Jimmy, I'm going to say this one. I'm going to be interested to get your take on this one. I'm sure it surprised you. Solo Sikoa is your new United States champion. Jacob Fatu picked up that championship at WrestleMania. His run has come to an end, but Solo couldn't do it alone. He had all sorts of help here. I'll let you break this one down, Jimmy, because I know you've been really invested in it, and I'm sure it kind of had you probably baffled about the booking decision.
Well, yeah, I am baffled because, I mean, who saw that coming? Who would have gone with Solo beating freaking Jacob Fatu? Yes, the Hikuleo part didn't surprise anybody, including myself, right? What really pissed me off is what his actual new name is now, actually, Rick. Did you hear about it?
What is it? You gotta. This will be news for me here.
Now listen to this, right? Keep this in mind. We've got Tama Tonga.
Right?
We got Tangaloa.
Tangaloa.
But now we've got Tola Tonga.
Okay, so they just don't want. Yeah. They don't want anybody. They don't want anyone to remember any of their names.
How fuckers say their three names 10 times real fast.
Yeah, now I feel bad about making fun of you about Bobby Bonilla. I can't even remember what the names were you just told me. And then you throw in Matteo in there with a Solo.
JC Matteo.
Yeah.
Of all things. So get this right, get this straight. We got Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Tola Tonga.
So the T-Boys, the T-Birds.
The triple T's, baby.
The triple T's. The triple T's. It's
But do
like
they
a
really have
triple
to call
T
him
sandwich.
Tala?
Tomato, tomato, tomato.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, look, technically it's Talatanga, but you know what they really mean
Yeah.
when they called him that, right?
Yeah.
Because he's tall, bro. That's their way of thinking. 100%.
Yeah, or it's this. We know there is no future for any of these three. They're not going to be. We need interchangeable players. They're going to just be essentially
Tonga.
whipping boys. Hey, that could be like a chant, man. Tunga, 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 tunga. Hey, just get the old island gimmick back out with her dancing around. Tunga, 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 tunga.
Shit. I mean, no, but for real, is Tonga Loa dumb? And I'm talking about the former Camacho.
I don't know. It's this whole group. So they get the championship. I think to just show that there is some relevancy here. I think with somebody for them to have any chance against Fatu, I mean, you need a numbers game. You need a pack. It's like when you're going on a big game hunt. There's a pack of hunters.
I get that.
Going after that wild animal. So you put the odds against him. He's got to go through to defeat all of these guys. It's a numbers game. And I certainly believe he is a baby that is going to be, and this might be throughout his career, in WWE career, much better on the chase than as a holding champion.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really need the championship. I think they gave it to him way too quick, in my opinion. But I get it. They're probably really over-impressed by him.
I think it was. See, they wanted a big payoff with something like that and just realize, hey, this guy's better on the chase. On the other side of that, Solo has done a great job in the last couple of weeks.
I think he's earned, to be fair, he's actually earned to have a friggin' US title run, man. I agree with you on that.
He was unfairly put into a role he was not suited for. Even in the bloodline, he wasn't that silent assassin, bulldozer type that they had him at,
He's freaking Samoan.
He was a terrible replacement for Roman Reigns, trying to just replicate that seriousness, that attitude of the.
Do that? You think though? What did they see in him?
Because they're idiots. Put him in
such a big.
Well, who else? I mean, who else?
Though.
No one else was gonna. They rolled the dice. They just want to try something to the extreme to see if it worked. But if you really look at the recent history of the members of the bloodline, the Usos struggled for so long finding a direction because they kept being just handcuffed by the stereotypes of what the Samoan dynasty is.
But they always fucking do this. That's another
thing.
thing.
Roman Reigns took how long to really find his own voice? They kept just pushing him as that baby.
Right.
And he is a good prick that he could go in there with that seriousness to do all this. And the same with Solo. Now that Solo's showing some personality, he is even the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, are thriving because we're seeing their personality. It seems that Solo has a personality very similar to his brothers.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. I mean, I just don't like how they always stereotype shit, though. Like you said, especially with some homes, man, they've always done that.
I even popped on the pre-show here for Night of Champions when Solo was out there and they're chanting. He's like, "What do you eat now?" He ain't even here. He's giving it back to him. And as I said, you can see more, and where he's having fun, he's dancing a little bit more. So I think he is breaking through. This is another opportunity for him to show his value for the company, that he can stand out. But I think he is probably at his ceiling, his cap, and that's like a solid U.S. champ here.
Yeah,
so,
I don't see him as
he needs a group of whooping boys around him.
The only thing is, this group that he's got around him is going to be the thing that breaks the camel's back, though, especially with the Tongans. The Tongans have got their own thing going on, If you look at the Bloodline storyline, if you look at their face reactions, when Jacob first debuted, do you remember when Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga both looked at each other like, oh shit, we didn't plan for this to happen? They gave each other this sort of look, teasing that they could turn in the future. I still think they'll turn. The only problem is Tonga Loa doesn't understand how to do shit.
Yeah,
he botched his freaking comeback again, bro.
They needed role players to fit the bit parts. That's what those guys are.
Yeah, but was he sleeping? Because Jacob Fatu literally was frustrated to the point where he had to go.
It's just not good. It's just not good.
I mean, you can't be that stupid though, dude.
It's just, I know there was a darling effect. People fall in love with it because you don't get to see the ins and outs of everyday performances. It's a different style in Japan, things like that. I'm just not suited for sports entertainment, WWE style.
Weird, bro. Yeah, he's just, I don't know if it's nerves. Does he get nervous? Is he scared? I have no idea. But the fact that Jake Fatu had to literally look under the ring and call him out, that's a bad fuck up, man.
Might have been something cool going on down there. I don't know.
Wow.
Who knows?
Well, yeah. I mean, shit. But
yeah.
still, he shouldn't
but
have
anyway,
to do that. That's my point.
Anyway, Solo Sikoa, your new United States champion with a new gang of goons to lead around. So we'll see what Fatu's got in store, as he's going to be back on the hunt, the prowl for revenge there. Jimmy, we're set to crown a new queen and a new number one contender. The question is it going to be Asuka who's going to be challenging for the Raw side of things? Is it going to be Jade who's challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship? This thing goes 8:35. I want to bring that up because I think it is very, very important here. We regularly talk about how great Asuka is. You listen to the expertise of the vet who has Asuka up there, arguably as the greatest, just accomplished, just bell to bell, greatest of all time. Asuka does everything she can here to carry Jade to a good match, but yet again, Jade seems to get exposed in 8 minutes and 35 seconds. I mean, you would think that's quick in and out in this day and age.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not Jade. Print money. She is a mega star, mega bucks. Look, print money on this. But what is the direction? What is the coaching with her? She comes at this Storm cosplay BS. Ben had me cracking up. He goes on a rant about you comic book nerds out there, but he had so many good points. But when you get to someone like Jade, she comes out there. She is overly into this Storm X-Men cosplay. She's more worried about rearranging her gear and fixing her eyelashes than she is taking care of the match itself. This wasn't the first time you're talking about botches and missing spots. She can't even apply a pin properly at this point.
Yeah, that pin to win the match especially was pretty bad and lazy too, on top of that.
In the semifinal, the ref had to move her damn leg out from under who did she beat there whoever it was in the semifinal, but she had her leg tucked there so the elbow, so her shoulders weren't down. So the referee had to move Jade's leg to get the pin. They're worried about everything else except getting her better in the ring. And Ben was saying, and one wholeheartedly agree here, that if you're going to do this should be the Goldberg squash style.
That's the only way you can book a dude, really, because she can't. And I said this on one of the shows maybe a week ago about Jade, similar things. And I hate to say this because I'm a huge fan of hers, Rick. But has it come to the point where she just doesn't understand or doesn't know how to learn properly? If that makes sense.
We don't know. Okay, I get that. But what are... And she was at the Nightmare Factory, right? She's been with Cody. She's obviously done some stuff here at the Performance Center. My thing is, she is a world-class athlete. I mean, she played college ball. Obviously, she knows how to take care of herself in the gym. I'm sure there's some assistance with that, there. But, I mean, you still got to work out with that. But what are they focusing on with her behind the scenes here? Are they not focusing on that? Because with everything else, the entrance looked grand, right? I mean, you got all that. You get the cosplay. But it's been said, when you are cosplaying, when you are portraying someone else, you're not getting yourself over. You're getting that person over. Now, it's okay to sample some things from others. As he regularly says, good artists create, great artists steal, make it their own. But it is, as we were talking about yesterday, I said they think, and this is the same thing with Jade. She's going out here in the Storm sense. Does she even understand what that character is? Do they understand? Or they just think because she looks like it, let's get a cool little win? But Storm, and forgive me if I'm wrong here, maybe someone in the group, I'm not a big comic book guy, but my understanding of Storm, but she's a dominating ass kicker, right?
That's what she's supposed to be.
Okay. So I get they're trying to do that a little bit with Jade, but Storm can fly around. I don't see any flying around from Jade. She can create lightning, strike hard. Like I don't get the parallels between what they're doing besides trying to replicate a look. The same thing, like when Johnny Gargano is dressing. Yeah, when Johnny Gargano is trying to dress like his favorite superhero. When Brian Cage is doing the Wolverine. How was Brian Cage like the Wolverine?
That shit.
I remember
all that shit.
I remember when Wolverine on X-Men or something like that would be, oh, sorry, I got to stick around and get my shit in. No, he comes there and takes care of business. You know, so they're not even properly portraying. This one I do know.
Fucking kids, all right, just quietly.
This, yeah, because they're marks. So this is the one I do know. So like when New Day came out dressed as Saiyans, you know what? I do know this one because I do like Dragon Ball. One of the biggest marks, I love Dragon Ball. So this is one of the biggest mark things that's out there. First of all, so they come out dressed like Saiyans after they spill out of a big box of Cheerios, Bootios, and they're throwing pancakes and blowing horns. Guess what? Vegeta would annihilate all of you pussies. You wouldn't even be allowed to wear that stuff. So you're not cool. You're marks for this. And with Jade.
Testify, Rick.
Jade is being exposed so bad, poorly in the ring right now. She's thinking that that X-Men are making her look cool. No, she's making X-Men look bad.
Fuck.
That's the problem with this here.
Wow.
So they're all worried about this, and she has it, and that's the frustrating part about this thing. She's got all the money, print it, but dude, she can't even get through an 8.5 minute match right now. That's a serious problem. You can't start Goldberging people because these crowds will immediately in 2025 turn on that.
They'll start chanting Cargill. I know you're right, and that's the thing. The fans would turn because of
we need her to look like Goldberg, but right now she looks like Jade Cargill.
Wow. Yeah, look, it worries me too, and that's why I'm saying it. I'm asking you, Rick, is she even teachable at this point?
She has to be. There's got to be somebody. There's somebody that could get through to her. She even spent 2 weeks with Rip Rogers, so maybe I'm wrong.
Dude, but she just doesn't seem to doesn't matter who you give her, it seems at this point. They just know that she looks like $1 million. They know she's technically supposed to be a star. But I think even WWE is realizing, because if you notice, up until this point, they pulled back on Cargill a little bit, dude. You must.
I think they knew to. And now here we go.
Right.
Now she's going to challenge Tiffany Stratton. So what I've been pulling my hair out over, and I got that Cena going in my mid 40s here, so I don't have that much to pull out. So who the hell am I supposed to root for in this showdown between these two?
It's a good question, man. I mean,
am I just supposed to be intrigued because it's two jacked up chicks? And Jade, right. if Asuka can't get 8 good minutes out of Jade, where in the hell am I supposed to believe that Tiffany Stratton could be a ring general to even get 4 minutes out of her?
Mate, that match is going to stink the house
right?
down. Dude, I'm telling you, that match is the wrong match in terms of as good as, Tiffy is, right? Can she carry a Cargill? No fucking way, dude.
I think the only way to save that is like within 30 seconds that Naomi joins the match or something, but I don't know.
Surely that might even go down for all we know. You know what I mean? It's the best way to go at this point to save face for everybody.
Yeah. Here's the problem. Naomi's a hot heel right now, but it's going to cost people to cheer if she cashes in on that thing because the champion and the challenger suck.
Right. And that's WWE. That's on WWE for this, dude.
Yeah. So
all
right. So we do have Jade moving forward. What do you guys? I was a little bit in and out. I didn't get to hear if you guys had touched on this. Where did you guys talk this morning about where this leaves Asuka?
I don't think we did actually.
Well, she wasn't even mentioned on Raw.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, because we got I want you, Riyadh. So we know that match is going on. We got the Pirate of the Sky promo. And she's going with Perez, but all right, where's Asuka now?
Look, I think they're just giving her the night off. Obviously, like that's why there's no Cody. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, because
you just brought her back. You put her in the semifinal. That's who it was. It was Asuka that she couldn't get her foot out from under. All right, so So now what? Asuka, Asian girl number 3, you're out. We got to focus on these other 2 right now. We'll get you around the next cycle when we have our. But it seems like there's nothing for her at Evolution. Unless she's going to be maybe on one of those Raw tag teams that they're going to put out there. Maybe they'll put her and Sane back together.
At this point, that's the rumors that's going around. Apparently, the Kabuki Warriors are going to be a thing again.
All right, do it. I mean, they don't have anything else for them. Because they're going to need Raw representation in that women's 4-way or that tag team 4-way, fatal 4-way.
But dude, if they have nothing for her come Evolution, which is just over a week away.
2 weeks. It's about 10 days.
Well, whatever the case is coming up, they're idiots, bro. Straight up. If they manage,
you bring her back like this, and this is what you had for her, but nonetheless, we'll pay attention to that. We do have our main event of the evening, and this is a big one we had hyped up here. This is the trap that John Cena put out there. Punk, you want this match? Well, then you hypocrite, you're going to have to go where you said you never go. You want this gold? You got to go for that blood money. You got to go to Saudi. This is John Cena, the last real champion, defending against CM Punk, the savior of the people, the voice of the voiceless. This was a big one, though. You got it. There was everything going around to this. And I think, a lot of people want to get into the political side of this and talk about the Punk apology. We covered that at the top of the show. But when you get down to the match, 2 big stars in the company. This is one of those that they're few and far between in pro wrestling today when we do get some big name, big star action.
Absolutely. And you couldn't get really any bigger than this right here between Punk and Cena. As a matter of fact, it's the best in the world versus the greatest of all time as they build it also. And you know what really sort of stood out for me in this match? Boy, has Cena really lost his edge in terms of in-ring ability. I'm not talking about everything
He's
else.
open about that. It's hard for him to do this right now. It's hard to go at that level. So they changed the style. I'm okay. I like the storytelling that we're getting from these matches. They're slower paces.
Psychology, absolutely different, like the opposite. But in terms of him being able to actually execute shit properly, it's.
Do you think are we going to get a thinned out part here? Maybe post SummerSlam, maybe go a couple, a month or 2, because it seems like we're getting a lot of Cena on this farewell tour, and I know there's not a lot of dates left.
That's true. I mean, by this point, there was 19 from the last time I remember. That was 3 weeks ago. It felt like.
All right, so
it's about 10 at this point, right?
Right. So I mean, you got to believe after SummerSlam they're going to start thinning those out, but you do see kind of a lull in the hype, the schedule, and all that. So it'd be interesting to look at what events they've got, especially since they've changed that schedule where we've got a premium live or a marquee event every other week. But here or there. So inside the match itself, you get the big spots between these 2. The night before we saw the Punk cosplay. A couple weeks ago, we saw the pipe bomb situation. So we do get, we had a short term, but an effective build here. Get the big spots inside of the match. Again, Cena tries, we get the tease as we saw in some of the other matches about the sign of respect. But Punk's ready for this one. After the embrace and the look, he's going to go for the kick, the new patented John Cena crotch kick. But Punk's ready for it. Sets him up for the go to sleep, the GTS. The bump of the night, spot of the night has to go to old little Nate getting that pounce. I mean, that dude was running like 1,000,000 miles per hour, a football field away, dude, and gets the pounce, dude. Cena rocked his ass. You talk about someone that should be getting a bonus on that blood money. That's Charles Robinson.
Dude, I swear, when he came sprinting down, I'm thinking, dude, don't fall, because he's like, you know what I mean? Like, just sprinting down, and then Cena just clobbered him. I'm like, oh, dude, why? Why'd you do that to him? But, man, he can still run for his age. I'll take my hand off for that. But, look, I enjoyed the match. It was a little slow. You know what I mean? I mean, what do you expect? I mean, look, Punk can clearly still go at 46 years old. Cena's totally lost his edge in terms of in-ring ability, but hasn't lost his edge
I don't think it's as bad as people think,
in my book. He's just not the same, dude.
Cold-blooded
saying that aggression anymore.
Cold-blooded said, and he bets that Charles helped take the ring down afterward, because that's a true pro, baby.
100%.
That's a true pro. Absolutely. And I've also wondered if they're going to start thinning out these Cena appearances because
They have to.
they're probably running out of ideas just because John's going to need a rest. I might have some projects coming up, but they might be running out of like schmaz finishes here.
Yeah, you know what?
So we get the finish here. We get the interruption, a big pop from the crowd because here comes Seth Rollins and the Rollins roadies or whatever the hell we want to call them.
The roadies. We still don't know a name yet for these idiots, right? So we can't even
I still just want to go simple. The new Dangerous Alliance, the NDA.
Perfect, bro. It's just, I know, but they're fools. They're just, I mean,
yeah. So we get Seth. Seth kind of ruins everything here, and Cena retains.
Yeah, but it almost looked like for a moment I'm thinking, oh yeah, maybe Punk and Cena both don't like this bullshit that's happening. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't screw this up because everyone's going to cheer Cena, even though they are somewhat.
Well, I think, all right, so inside of the story there, yeah, Punk hates Seth Rollins. That's no secret to anybody. Absolutely. Those two have been going at it since before Punk walked back in the door. You know, we got social media issues with those guys. And if you're John Cena, you've got everybody else coming at you. You've turned your back on the universe. You've been betraying friends. All those people want you. But now you got this scumbag that could just cash in on you. That could be just, a snake in the grass that could come ruin your plans on your retirement tour. So he's not going to be liking Seth Rollins. I think what's interesting though. So now that we do know, we can fast forward a little bit. And there was some things in the promo that Rollins delivered on Monday about, this wasn't about John Cena. This is about, I hate you, CM Punk, and I'm going to stand by saying that I will make sure you never win that championship again.
100%. I agree. And look, man, make no mistake about it. I don't know who Rollins is going to cash in on in the end, but Cena's got to be losing that championship bout pretty soon, man. And it has to be at SummerSlam, surely.
I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. And there's some things with the case that I'm not so sure about as well. When we look at the story tonight, I know there's a lot of disgruntled fans with this Rollins group. I agree. It is not working.
It's not working,
bro. There's plenty of things here. The reality of this, and the sad thing is, I still believe that Seth Rollins made the most sense to win the Money in the Bank case because of what was given. Because they didn't really give us anyone in that match that needed, deserved, earned, however you want to look at that thing.
It was dead obvious from all of us saying that, really.
Yes, man, at the time. It was one of the most piss poor collections of challengers that I've ever seen inside of a Money in the Bank match. It was terrible. And Rollins isn't doing anything with this. This group continues to fail. And I think it's just more proof. And Rollins has had all these pushes. Who has been his creative control? Who has helped him? He mirrors the run of Triple H.
He does, but he's a Triple H guy too.
When you look at the resume of Triple H, and you take the name off the top, and we're just looking at all the accolades, all the accomplishments. It's like, damn, this must have been a mega star. This guy must have changed the business. But then you realize, no, it's Triple H. That was all just crafted, molded that way for him. When we talk about, I've never even heard anyone put Triple H in their top 10 of all-time greats.
Well, yeah. I mean, is he top 10? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, Triple H's greatness in this industry is a pile of manufactured shit. And the same thing can be said for Seth Rollins. He's the future of WWE. He's been in the company for over a decade.
More, dude. 2 decades almost, it feels like.
He's never gotten anything fully over. He usually hits at best at 50%. The only thing that was really, really, really over that he was involved in was the Shield. And during the height of the Shield, it was more about Roman and Dean.
Yeah, actually, Dean very much so, believe it or not, which is weird. Right?
Just remember, they thought Dean would be the defector and the guy that would go get that big push. People loved Roman then because he was, he wasn't overexposed or being shoved down anyone's throats. 100%. And then there was Seth.
Rollins was the third guy. Make no mistake about it. At first,
anything he's done has only been half-assed. He is not going to be a long-lasting, memorable guy. And right now, I think people are being tolerant and patient because we're hoping for the payoff with Bron Breakker.
Yeah,
But
that will happen, but it's not anytime soon.
But what also worries me about this is a potential long-term story here where with Seth and Punk, Seth is going to eventually cash in for one of those championships.
Yep.
And I think it's probably going to be the World Championship. They're going to keep that rolling on the Netflix brand, the Raw brand. A big payoff for them would be a Seth Rollins CM Punk championship one-on-one WrestleMania main event.
Yep, for sure. But
I think that's...
Do you pull Punk over, though, at that time when that happens?
Yes, I think that's your big Punk put over kind of send-off. Thank you for these years. You know, all that shit. That is the long-term payoff. I know that we got this bullshit that CM Punk was in a main event last year. Come on, that's not the main event that CM Punk wants to be remembered for, the one that he walked out of a company for.
But it's still a main event. You got to give him that. I mean, come on. Is
Come
it
on.
fair that we all move the
It's a night one triple threat where what was on the line was the Walrus. No one growing up dreaming of that for the WrestleMania moment. You want a one-on-one championship match, the confetti coming down, the pyros blasting, the fireworks rocking whatever city they're in. You want that moment, that memory. And you got to believe CM Punk wants that to kind of be the explanation point on his legacy.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, I can't argue that. You're pretty right. But I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt too, you know what I mean? But, yeah, we'll see what happens. Do you think it's his last hurrah? Do you do it next year, say? Or do you wait another year? With
his age and his injuries, you do it sooner than later. You're running out of fucking opportunities.
I thought he was 44 for some reason. I didn't realize he's at 46 at this point. So, yeah.
Speaking for someone that's about to turn 46, yeah, hurry up and get it done.
You know, that's fair cool. But although he can still go though at 46, so I'll give him that when it comes to Punk.
Bro,
he's still good in the ring, man.
I don't know.
God damn it, my nose is getting blocked again. I hate that. But anyway, that was pretty much. I mean, before we do go though, if you had to give it 5, hand slaps.
I like the big events over there. I'm going to give this about a 3.5.
That's a fair call. I think I'd say the same. About a 3.5. I wouldn't give it any higher or any less. It went quick.
I'm going to give it a nice curve. I'll give it an up curve.
Yeah, I mean, it felt quick. I mean, did the event?
Well, and I also will tell you this, just like Monday, putting over. I love the earlier start time for Raw. I'm sorry, internationally, I love these early shows.
Oh, well, yeah, for you. For me, is you know what
what time was it for you? It was 1 in the afternoon here for me.
Get this, bro. I looked it up, right, and I'm thinking, what time is it starting? Everywhere I read it said 5 a.m. my time. That was bullshit, dude. It started at 3 a.m. my time.
All right.
I have to go back and watch that shit.
Where were they when we had a weird one? I think they were over. Yeah, they were in Australia. So we got Perth coming up here in a couple
Perth
weeks.
Is a big difference even for me because they're on the West Coast.
Yeah, but it's 3 hours. It's a 3 hour difference because
with us and them, right? Same with
you know how most people like in their offices remember they had like the different clocks like New York, London, and all that. So so I've got like.
Oh, do you actually have that shit in front of you like that?
No, I don't actually. But if I did, see now I would have a vet time, which is West Coast here, which is now going to be vet and Jargo time because they're going to be on the West Coast.
Oh, true. That's true. You're right.
I got the Central time representing, which would have been Jargo now, but people like Ryan K. Bowman, John Enright. Then I've got us regular people that make the world go around. I got our East time, and then I got a Pierce time and a Jimmy time, so I can tell the differences.
We're both East Coast Australia, so me and Pierce are the same time.
Oh, I thought he was 3 hours different than you.
Oh, no. Maybe he's from Sydney. I'm from Melbourne. That's the next major city between each other. Like where I live, for example, I live off a road called.
Here's what I know. When I send a message to Pierce, he answers me, and I have regular conversations with him. I can't say the same thing.
Well, dude, man,
we're not arguing about that on there. Let's get out of here because we do got the A show.
Why'd you bring that up on there, man?
It's a dick.
No, it's all good, bro. No, it's all good. I get it. But yeah, man, I don't know why, but I'm starting to feel fucking sick again, bro. Not sick, it's just my nose. The sinus won't go away. But in saying that, I agree. I gave it a 3.5. That's probably the best number you can give it. I can't see any going any higher or any less than that. It was a fine event. It went quick. Did it go over 3 hours? Or it didn't, did it?
It was like 3:19 or something like that.
Was it? Felt less for me. But again, I missed a couple of the first 2 matches. Originally live, that is. I had to go back and watch those first few matches. But yeah, it was fine, I guess. I just feel like, I know it makes me laugh, this song too. But anyway, in saying that, Rick, tell them what you're doing and what you're up to, man.
Each and every Monday. Hey, that is up. A great show with Ben Hameen yesterday, especially the first half hour of that. If you want to get some tremendous insight into indie wrestling, how those big shows work, the history of 2CW, some great insight, go check that out. Ben Bustin' on Comic Book Nerds had me in fucking tears. It's great. New 10 count episode is up. John Paz and myself running through 10 topics, 10 conversations, half an hour in and out. We're going to be getting ready to record a new one here shortly. Besides that, Jimmy and I will be back your 4th of July weekend. Come hang out with us for SmackTac. And, of course, coming up this Friday, July 4th here in the States, 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time. We are going to kick it off heading into that high noon hour. It is the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest around the world. Man, we are going to deep dive into this bad thing, that the history of the hot dog, why it is so important, why it is an American icon, and we are going to give that plump and succulent play-by-play as we crown our 2025 champion. It is the return of the nut. Joey Chestnut comes back looking for his Yellow Mustard Championship title. Can the up-and-comers keep him down, or will he be back to reclaim that top prize?
Why did your little promo just get me really intrigued for this damn show?
Because when you can sell, I can shill the sausages, baby. And that's what we're going to do this Friday.
Well, I'm definitely going to be tuning in because I'm just intrigued by it. I mean, it's bizarre how this is even a huge thing, but, you know, it is a tradition every 4th of July. So I am looking forward to that. It is live on ESPN again this year, right?
Yes, it is.
Wow, every year. So I guess I'll have it live also on ESPN down in my neck of the woods. But if you want to follow me and you want me to interact with all of y'all, you can at the PWC Network on Twitter. Also, of course, on DJ Mass Effects, where I won't interact with you, but still you can follow me over there. Like and subscribe right here at Hameen Media Group's YouTube channel. So please share, give us a like, give us a share. Tell everybody who actually enjoys professional wrestling to come and check us out. I actually appreciate all you guys earlier on the I Like a Raw show. We had huge numbers for that. I think the biggest ever in I Like a Raw history. Yeah, we got a big number. I was quite surprised by that, so I appreciate that.
I was there.
Sharing us out there. Yeah, of course you were, yeah. As a matter of fact, I remember your hot dog show last year got huge numbers too.
It's always one of the hits of the year. It's registered as some of the highest.
I remember
at our peak, we have a couple thousand. On a live one, we had 7 different countries one year tuning in. So we have a lot of fun with it. We have a lot of fun with it. But Jimmy, before you hit that thing to get us out of here, I do want to leave everybody with, I choose you, everybody.
Well, you heard the man. I am Jimmy T. He is RBV, and you've been listening and watching the Smack Attack Night of Champions edition of the Smack Attack, no less. Live right here on Hameen Media Group's YouTube channel and on channelattitude.com after the fact. Until next time, take care. Peace.